Good evening. Sorry that we're late. Welcome to Human Performance Live Tuesday nights. Tonight we have Kenny from Beyond the Barrel. He is the host and the owner of the podcast, I guess you would say.
I guess.
And then Interdiction, police
Yeah.
officer, and kind of a funny dude sometimes.
Not really. I usually play off other people. I don't have anything original.
Very nice. So, Kenny, explain a little bit what you do in law enforcement and I guess in your playtime, stuff like that.
Cool. Started my law enforcement career in 2007. 2012, I started I got assigned to a part-time interdiction team. And then 2016, based on some luck that I had, my department created a position and I've been working pretty much full-time interdiction since then. Sometimes I get pulled back depending on weather and manpower type issues, but typically that's my full-time assignment. With that, I'm on my second canine. I had a Dutch Shepherd originally, and now I have a 85-pound lab. It's everything I guess I wanted in law enforcement. I wanted to be a canine handler. I didn't know what interdiction was until I went to the police academy, but my motivation, I guess you could say, was always to like get narcotics off the street, and there's no better way than finding kilos.
All right. So are you like interdiction, like the video that the Coast Guard jumping on the back of a submarine?
I would love to do some maritime stuff, but in Indiana, we don't have many oceans, so I'm stuck to working just straight highway type stuff. Occasionally, we'll do like some truck stop and like consensual encounters, but mainly it's just working the interstates.
Right. Okay. And what's that entail? So you get called that there could be a truck or something?
No, most of it's cold stop. You're just using a lot of human behavior. I use the analogy a lot. If you're afraid of snakes and spiders and I throw one at you, you're not just going to sit there and let it crawl over you. So if you have a 20-year prison sentence in the trunk of your car and you see a law enforcement officer sitting in the median, you're going to have some type of fear reaction or reaction in general.
Right. Okay. Very cool. And how long you've been doing interdiction?
From 2012. So 2012, I was assigned to a part-time assignment. Basically, I would still work patrol, and then anything overtime, I could go work the highway with a certain amount of hours in a month through like HIDA initiatives. Which is a kind of like a form of DEA type stuff. Okay. And then 2016 is when we started the team full time.
Oh, wow. Okay. So obviously this is, let's talk about your podcast a little bit. What do you go over in Beyond the Barrel?
So before I was a cop, I was a bartender. So I kind of combined them both. And I think beyond like the badge or whatever is kind of outplayed and cliche. So I feel like, a lot of cops, it's more gun oriented. So that's kind of why there's a gun on there. It's a pun on, Beyond the Barrel, the gun, Beyond the Bourbon Barrel, tying like my previous life as a bartender together and, Beyond the Barrel, the gun, with also like the concept of like getting down to like on I guess a personal level, like when people are off duty, when cops are off duty, what they do, how they get in law enforcement, and like the bullshit that we talk about sitting around theoretically the Bourbon Barrel, but kind of around like the bar.
Nice. Okay. And what kind of content do you have as far as what do you guys talk about? Do you have guests? I mean, is it just kind of just sitting there talking to yourself, or?
No, yeah, there's always a guest, and usually it's more about how they grew up, lifestyle. Like sometimes cops, their dad was a cop, and that was their aspiration and motivation. Sometimes, like me, I got arrested at 22, and I just realized that there had to be a different way, and I didn't want someone that didn't have the roadmap to, I kind of wanted to lay a roadmap for someone else that didn't have like, I guess the perfect childhood, and show them that there's always a way, that there's, once you have the right motivation and right mindset, that you don't have to fall down, I guess, environment or social aspects or expectations of you. So that's kind of what we talk about, like how they got involved in law enforcement, what they did in their career. And then a lot of times it goes off to like what they did outside of work to kind of stay normal, stay sane, so that, this job can be very stressful and we all have vices. So a lot of it is, a lot of people love to go out fishing, hunting, family, working out. That's kind of like the most common. Sports is pretty common too. But what was your vice outside of the job?
Right. Well, we were talking offline before we went on, and we were talking that, we don't really drink too much. And what is your vice? What do you like to do?
I like to travel and I like to work out. I think working out for me is more of a lifestyle thing though. Like I have to go to the gym every day. And now whether that's just kind of like my like ADD type thing that he keeps me regular or whatever, however you want to look at it. But like I have to stay in that routine of going to the gym at some point. Even if like my theoretically off days in the gym, those types of things, I'm still going there. I'll do some cardio and some core stuff or something along those lines. But just getting to the gym, going through the motions, I guess, of that. Some days are effective, and some days I'm just there going through the motions. But it's just for me being in there and going through that routine is what I need in my life.
No, awesome. So that kind of parlays us right into you being a part of Human Performance, and you know, tell me about your experience from the very beginning, whether it was good, bad, ugly. I don't care. Nothing's off the table as far as because obviously you've been here long. You've been with us long enough that you've seen the really bad side of it. You've seen the not so bad, but still a pain in the ass. And then hopefully you now see something that's a little bit better and doesn't resemble the beginning at all.
Yeah. So when I first started, you guys were kind of transitioning to whatever that transition was. I wasn't like very privy to it, and again for me, there wasn't the biggest thing that I saw there was at the initial time was like communication wise, it was really really tough. Now not so much. As far as like getting the blood work done and that it was almost immediate where like the doctor ordered the blood work. I was able to get in there within a week and get my blood work done and those types of things. So that wasn't it. Was more the communication aspect that was like kind of falling short. And now it doesn't seem that way at all. I mean, I was talking to you guys today on through the app or through the website, whatever it is, and it was immediate responses. I actually like had to log back in because I was getting email notifications that you guys were responding that fast,
Yeah.
and it was logging me out. So yeah, I mean the communication now is amazing. It's there's no delays. I never have a lapse in my medication or however you want to word it.
Right.
I have no complaints. It's easy. It's user friendly. It's not it's very responsive. So if you have questions, you have issues, anything along those lines. As far as using TRT, like what am I in? Maybe 2 months or so.
Yep.
And I felt it like immediately. A lot of people are like, oh, 3 weeks, something like that. And I was like, within the first 24 hours, the first day that I used it, I slept probably 6 hours consistently, didn't wake up. It was some of the best sleep I've had in years. So that was almost immediate. And then probably within, I know a lot of guys that get on TRT like lose weight. And like most of my friends have lost weight. And then I thought it was something wrong. Like I don't know what it was, but I ended up putting on like 10 or 15 pounds within the first 3 weeks. A lot of that was water weight and kind of equaled itself out. And Anthony Shefferly from Heroic Industries or whatever.
Yeah, we had him on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude. So like he's been in the industry with nutrition and fitness and all that stuff. So anytime I had questions, I was bouncing off him. He's like, no, that's kind of what's happening. He explained like what was going on. So initially I was nervous, but then talking to him, he said, like, no, it makes sense, man. He got me on a good workout program. He got me on making sure that I was eating more protein. I was literally eating. I never kept track. I just kind of ate. I like most of the time I'd fast all day. I'd go to the gym, have a protein shake after, and then like go to work, not eat until I got home. And I was getting maybe 100 grams of protein in a day. Now I'm upwards of like 170 grams of protein a day. But I never kept track of that shit. Like I never, ever, like I was just like, I'm fine. I don't need to eat all day. When I got hungry, I'd eat. And that's kind of just how I live my life. And I figured if I'm using something to get me in shape a little bit better, then maybe I'll take advantage of having Anthony as a friend and helping me out with it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Anthony is amazing. Having him on the show was great because his knowledge of so much of the different parts of, like quote unquote, the industry, if you will. Like the whole CrossFit thing. I've never really been a fan of CrossFit. Again, I've never done CrossFit. It's not me shitting on CrossFit. But I look at the movements that they do, like, for instance, the pull-ups. To me, that looks like the most ridiculous thing. And I'm sure to, law enforcement and most people in the military, well, everybody probably in the military, they see those, they're like, those aren't pull-ups. You know what I mean? But the way he explained it makes sense. I'm never going to change my opinion on it though.
So I mean, yeah, I agree with you. It makes sense. Like, and that's almost the sport aspect of it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right.
And like the end goal of like to do like muscle ups and those types of things. Like when he explained it, I was like, oh, okay, I see the reason. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, doing something's better than nothing. So, but again, it's just different than what I've always known to be a pull up.
Right. I mean, you have pull-ups and you have chin-ups, and to get in the military, you got to do pull-ups, not chin-ups, because chin-ups are easier than pull-ups. But at the same time, you're right. Doing something is better than nothing. But I watched a special or something on CrossFit, and they were talking about how many injuries come from that. And I guess if you look at just that, yes, there's probably a lot of injuries. But if you look at bodybuilding, you look at look at bodybuilding. Some of the best bodybuilders have ripped their pecs, have ripped their biceps, have, hurt their backs. And that's even just going to the gym. You see people in the gym all the time hurting themselves, and they're not even lifting that heavy. So I guess you're going to have injuries. I would like to see like a quantifiable number on this is directly related to like CrossFit or whatever. I don't know. That's just not for me. I give everybody in the credit and that does it credit in the world because they're sticking to something. If you can stick to something and just hammer with it, great, do that. But I don't know. Kind of weird to me, but I don't have to like it.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess it's personal preference. I did CrossFit, probably not the right way for a while. And I definitely messed up my shoulder. And I don't know. I mean, sports and everything. So it could have been a combination of everything. But so I have a partially torn rotator cuff. When I went to my doctor, I said, "How do you prevent this from happening?" He said, "Get fat and have diabetes." And I was like, "Fair enough." So I was like, all right, I guess these things happen when you work out and you try to stay in shape. So it was one of the most honest responses I could get from a doctor. So I was happy with that.
Sit on your ass and eat bonbons.
Yep, basically what he said.
So what was it that brought you to even look into TRT and what was going on in your body? What was going on in your life? Was it just outside source or also how did you hear about, TRT and, hey, you should try this out?
I'm trying to think where I heard about it. I don't know exactly where I heard about it. I don't know, but I started to go down that avenue. I wish I would have done it at an earlier age. When I was about 40, I just felt like I wasn't recovering. I mean, I was still working out. It was just like I was doing things half-assed, and I kept saying like I just want to maintain, but like that's not a real thing. Like you can't just maintain. You're either losing or you're gaining. You can't just stay exactly where the fuck you're at.
Right.
So for me, I was like, man, I was just going through the motions, and I was like, man, I'll be happy if I could just maintain this. And I was like, that's not normal. That's like not a normal mindset. So at the age of 40, I went and got my test levels tested, and I was at 719, and they were like, "Oh, you're good. You can't do anything." I just wonder what I was at in like my 20s and 30s, because if 719 was where I'm starting to feel like working out sucks, I'm just tired, I'm sore, I can't sleep, all of these other things. I'm like, I wonder what I was at, but I didn't get my blood work done ever until I was 40. And then when I was 42, I went again, and that was my plan. I was just going to go every 2 years, and then I was down to like low fours. And at that point, I was, I guess, eligible. So I got prescribed a very low dosage of testosterone, and then it kind of ever since then, I haven't gone up or anything. I just kind of stayed even kill. I don't feel the peaks. Like I know some guys talk about like they feel the peaks when they use or when they take their testosterone, and then midweek or however it works. I split mine into two different portions. I take it Mondays and Thursdays, but even when I took it the very first time, I took it all at once. And I didn't feel these peaks and valleys like the other people. I felt good, but there was no like I could feel it leaving or anything along those lines. I just didn't. I never had those, I guess, adverse effects from it.
So I would get I'd be fine all week because I do my injection on Monday. I'd be fine all week, and then come Sunday, I'd be tired. I'd be more tired. It wasn't anything like, not taking testosterone or anything, but it wasn't good. I was tired, irritable. And then I heard some podcast, it might've been Andrew Huberman or something like that, talking about, quote unquote microdosing, but it's not really microdosing. I'm just cutting my 1 ml in half. And so I take it on Monday and Thursday. Testosterone cypionate has a half-life of 6.5 days. So by the time it's starting to start to wane out, or not be quite as effective or potent, you're giving yourself another injection, and then it carries you right back into that Monday. So just kind of, instead of going up and coming down, it just kind of levels out and stays level. And I know there's a lot of I'd say science, but a lot of guys experimenting, and I've kind of started experimenting. I'm probably going to do a little bit more, that they take super small injections weekly or daily or every other day.
Intramuscular?
Yeah. Well, I don't do it in muscular. I do a sub-Q on everything. Okay. So because I can't reach my glute because I've had a back fusion, I do my thighs, and I got tired of sticking my thighs with a 1.5-inch needle, long, not thick. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. And actually got it from Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And he does it in his glute with the 30 gauge 1/2-inch needle. So I started doing it in my thighs with 30 gauge 1/2-inch needle, and it changed my life. So it still is sub Q. And I think, one, I'm getting a better absorption, because when you do an injection to the muscle, it makes a ball and you can feel the knot, right? Well, when you're doing it sub Q, there's no knot because it's just flying right over that muscle. So your muscle can actually absorb it more. I can't tell you if that, the science behind it is perfect, but I don't think they really have the science behind it, whether intramuscular is better or sub Q is better. I know guys that they only do sub Q in their stomachs. That's it. So, I don't know. It's, I guess
I don't know
it's
if
a debate.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard something too about like using it in your stomach, or your like, it like helps burn fat, and that could just be all bullshit too. But I don't know. I heard something like that, and you're the one that actually told me about breaking it up bi-weekly. And
Yep.
you and I had that conversation, and it makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I got a bunch of tattoos, so needles don't really bother me at all. And you're right. I do feel the ball usually, and I kind of massage it out, and then I'll do some squats and stuff afterwards, like in my bathroom, just to kind of, so it's not
Move it
that
around.
ball. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one reason why I went to the sub Q, even in my thighs, just because it's so much better. Because it, like I said, it just glides across the muscle. It stays, between the fascia or whatever the hell it's called. I have to ask Anthony because I'm sure he'll know.
Sure.
But it just, I don't I don't have that knot anymore. I don't have, well, and I had a bad experience one time. I did it my leg, and I was in a little bit of a rush, which that's kind of stupid. And I must have gotten a little too close to the nerve. And then when I, put the plunger down, it was a little bit more sore than normal. And I was like, oh man. Well, the next day, by the end of the day, I couldn't walk. Well, I could walk, but it was just like I was limping. It hurt. It was fine the next day, but that just was not that wasn't a good day for me. And then, fast forward, I find this needleless injector, and this thing is amazing. I don't have to worry about that crap anymore. No more needles. I don't get too deep. It goes right where it needs to go. So been pretty happy with that too.
So I tried that, we talked about, I tried the sub Q in my leg, and I don't know what it is, but it didn't like swell up, but it was got to like the size of like maybe a softball, and it was super red, and it itched like crazy for about 3 days. And I don't know what it was. I don't have any of those issues if I use it. I get intermuscularly.
Yeah.
But like when I did that in my leg, I don't know. So now I have this like fear of doing it again, because it it wasn't like painful. It just itched. It was the weirdest thing.
You're gonna like this one.
I'm talking shit on there.
I will touch your glute for you, Phil. Well, for $10, you can touch my glute all you want.
That's cheap.
I've done worse for less.
Fair enough.
The great thing is, when you find what works for you, always stick with it. And he did his first sub Q in my leg today too. Any any adverse effects, any share more if you want. I try to tell guys, people ask you, well, what diet should I use? What diet should I get on? The one you're going to fucking stick to. Stop asking for these fad diets. Stop asking for this, that, or other thing. If you can get in there and you can find something that works for you, keep doing that. Obviously, ask your doctor, find out what he thinks. And if he says do it, then do it. If he says don't do it, I would do more research. I mean, even if he says do it, I probably still would do more research.
Yeah, I guess I have a good rapport with my doctor. He's maybe in his young 50s, so he's a younger dude, and he doesn't have to abide by a bunch of he's like kind of his own practice. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to abide by like a big network of hospitals or anything like that. So he's been pretty upfront and honest with me throughout ever having him as my general practitioner. As far as diets for me, like eggs, like hard boiled eggs, like that's a great protein shakes. And then like, yeah, that's so my wife will cook me a bunch of eggs and turkey sausage, and then just has them in Ziploc bags. So like, I just eat those when I get hungry instead of going and eating chips and shit.
Right. Kevin Ackerman, I'm 35. My numbers are in the 350s. What do you recommend?
TRT.
You call Human Performance CRT, or you sign up online at hp-trt.com. Use code CC20, and get your blood work done if you don't already have it. If you already have it, just upload it to the portal once you get signed up. 350 is really low. For myself and even our doc, I've had extensive conversations with. He believes every male over the age of 30 should be between 800 and 1,000. So yeah, I would suggest, obviously do your homework. Don't just take, a couple jackasses on a podcast, word for it. But yeah, it changed my life. I'm 47. I've got quite a few surgeries under my belt. And I feel better now than I did when I was in my 20s, because in my 20s, I had already now, looking back, everything's better when you get a chance to look back at it. I had probably already hurt my back before I actually broke it. Very minorly, whatever. But I ended up breaking my back like a year later. And yeah, I feel tons better now than I ever have.
I mean, beyond just like for me, being able to go to the gym, lift weights, and that's like kind of my happy place for about an hour and a half a day. Like like just my ability to kind of stay like mentally clear. Like, and I know people talk about like emotional roller coasters and stuff like that. I feel like if anything, I'm more like laid back now that my testosterone was like at a normal level than I was when I could tell that it was getting lower, even though like I wasn't in that right zone to be prescribed it. I was more like irritable and stuff along. So like I think having the right testosterone in your body is going to even help you out, like emotionally and mentally better. For me, anyways. That's experience I had.
Yeah. Microdosing Sunday and Monday to get full amount. Injecting in the belly gives me a lump for a day or so. Yeah, some people do have that effect. Like if I were to microdose in my stomach, or not even microdose, just take like half my dose because it's 0.5 ml, there's going to be a lump in my stomach for sure.
I bruise too.
Yeah.
But I'm also like transparent white. Like
we kind of have that problem, don't we, Red? Let's see. I read about IM versus sub-Q. The reading says that it takes longer for the test to be absorbed when it's sub-Q and fat versus IM. So yeah, it depends on what study you read. It depends on where you get it. Always follow the money and find out who paid for it first. But there's been a lot of really good articles that they say they don't really know. There's a lot of really good articles that say they really know. But when it comes down to it, if it works for you and your body is absorbing the rate that you want it to, and you're feeling fine at whatever level you're at, stick with that. Because everyone's gonna be different. Like we were talking about earlier, most of us didn't get our test levels checked when we were in our 20s and 30s, right? Because we were feeling fine. And that wasn't something that we thought we needed a baseline at the time. Well, I had the unique pleasure of getting my test levels done at 25 because my command thought that I was taking steroids, which I wasn't. I just started going to the gym a lot and hanging out in the gym and working out all the time. Ended up getting a little bit bigger than they thought I should have in, X amount of time. So they sent me to get blood work done 3 times for diabetics. And I'm good with it too for my test. Yeah. So, I think insulin's water-based though. The problem with test is it's oil-based. So it's a little bit more viscous, but we just, you're going to be excited about this. So we just signed on a pharmacy with that we can now, the doctor can now prescribe BPC 157, CJC, TB500, Ipamorelin, Tesamorelin, like all the stuff that normally you can't. And when you order it online for $120, you get that bottle and it says for research purposes only, this, that, and other thing. Ours is actually pharmacy grade. It's coming from the pharmacy. It's compounded at a compound pharmacy. So you have to take less of it to get the same dose that you would with that other stuff. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's going to last longer. So instead of lasting 7 days, it'll last you a full month like it's supposed to, because you're not having to take as much. And we are getting, we finally I got them dialed in today so we can actually, the doctor can order it. So if you guys want BPC 157, get a hold of us. We'll set it up. But things have changed with what we're able to prescribe with the pharmacy we're using now. So it's nice.
Is that some of the was it RFK pushing the peptides? Is that why it's a little easier now? Or
no, we our compounding pharmacy somehow was able to get around it. And it's not that they're doing anything illegal. They're just like us, are SureScript certified, which makes them kind of legitimate to, I guess, the medical world or whatever. But because it's written by a doctor and they have all the tests and they have all the analysis and they actually have doctors come in and recommend dosages and all this stuff. So it's very above board. But obviously you have to have the doctor prescribe it. You can't just call in and get it yourself. So, and it is very much so compounded for us. Tesamorelin is great for visceral fat loss. Yes, it is. So there you go.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Peptides are amazing. The medical matrix, the medical machine doesn't want people feeling better. So they create these problems and then they can have the solution for you at the same time. Well, it's no wonder that they don't want all of this happening, because what we do actually helps people feel better and get better and get off the medications, get off of this, get off of that. So
what do you think that is? Do you think that is because testosterone, I mean, I guess, it still can be controlled by, big pharma or anything like that. But why do you think that big pharma doesn't want testosterone being used? Is it because they have a lockhold on like the actual pharmaceutical aspect of it?
So think about this. When you were, some health insurance does. The reason why we're able to have a job is because unless you are at below 195, most health insurance now don't even consider it. Yes. So big pharma does not want, guys on the ground.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna leave that up too, so everybody can see it.
I agree there. I'm just trying to figure out their rationalization.
So because testosterone has been around for so long, it literally has been around forever. And they've done a bunch of research on it and they know that it helps. Well, because they put all this shit in our food and our water and the environment and everything else, that's how you keep people sick, a little bit at a time. Well, if you have somebody come along and say, hey, why don't we just get them on testosterone in a therapeutic dose, and they start feeling better, what does that do for their bottom line? It goes down. And testosterone isn't proprietary. Like semaglutide or tirzepatide, those are proprietary. There's a company that owns those. And the beginning of this year, like February, March, they decided that they were no longer going to be putting that out for the public to, or the other pharmacies to distribute. They pulled it all back to themselves, and they want all the profits. They don't want to share it with anybody. And they do that shit all the time. Like the medical matrix does that all the time. It's so weird that in my opinion, if I can sell my product to 5 million pharmacies, and those 5 million pharmacies need more every month, just seems like more profit in my mind. But what they do is they pull it back, they jack the price way up, and for half the amount of people, they're having to do more work. That's my opinion. I'm dumb though.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It's insane to me to think about that. Doctors and pharmacies have, started out in a good place where they wanted to help people, and now it's became such a money grab. And I'm not saying everyone in general, but big pharma probably, but doctors not in general. You know what I'm saying? But the grand scheme of things, it's all about the bottom line, especially once you start getting these like doctor networks and those types of things where they have to abide by this huge network of doctors. And it's no longer these like independent doctors that can just go out and do their own thing. And it's all about money at that point. And it kind of sucks because it's not, from my perspective, it's not about making people better. It's about masking what's wrong and forever having you on some type of medication forever, because that's going to in turn give big pharma more money in their pocket.
Well, I mean, I'm 47. How old are you?
43.
Okay, so I'm sure you remember this. Sometime in the 80s, all of a sudden they were putting kids on Ritalin right, left, and it was insane. Just because and it was mainly boys. Why? Because boys are hyperactive, because they have testosterone running through their body and their brains don't work, so they just run around like crazy people. So, and like Redline TV said, because if once your hormones are fixed, you don't need the bullshit pills they prescribe you. Exactly. So they create the problem, and then they give you the solution at the same time. And it's the same people that did both of them. So it's shitty all the way around. If you can regular doctor to prescribe your TRT, then yes, it's possible insurance will cover it. Yes, for sure. If your regular doctor will cover it or will prescribe it, and you have insurance, your insurance will probably cover it, or a good majority of it. But the problem is most of the doctors now, we have a guy that's actually with us that he was at 196. His state, it was 195. And because he was at 196, they said he's fine. He's on the low end of fine, but he's still fine. And to me, that's like having a V8 that runs off of 3 fucking cylinders. It does run, but you're not going up a hill with any kind of weight in that car.
That's crazy.
So it is what it is. The VA wanted me to go on 3 prescriptions after deployment. That's my resolution. I would rather get TRT. Well, yeah. So the VA does that. They'll say, oh, well, it's this, and this. And the problem, I have a massive problem with the VA's testing for test levels. Because if you go and say, I want to get my testosterone checked, they check your testosterone because they're retarded. You need to check the entire endocrine system. That's what we do. We check your FSH, your LH, your prolactin. We check everything. And if you come and say, hey, I was told that I have a thyroid condition, we won't only check your thyroid stimulating hormone. We will do an entire thyroid check, and then we'll do a T3 and T4 on it too. Like my little brother, he got his thyroid checked, came back fine. Well, he was still tired, felt like shit, and he's young kid. So my stepmom luckily was intelligent enough to say, hey, check his T3, T4. Comes back, I can't remember which one it was. One of them was jacked up. So, it just sucks that we have a system that's what they do, and they're okay with it, but how are you going to fix it?
Yeah, Ironically, when I was, I don't know, maybe third or fourth grade, the teacher like sent a note home with me that saying that I need to be on Ritalin, and my
Mhm.
grandma went to the school, and I still vividly remember saying, she said something to the effect like, "He doesn't need to be on medication. You just need to be a better teacher." And
Yeah.
I was like, "That's amazing." Now looking back, that was amazing. So I was never prescribed Ritalin, but the doctors were saying that, or the teacher was saying that I needed to be on it because I was just, I don't know, how old are you, 10, 11-year-old kid at 9, something like
Yeah.
that, in like third or fourth grade, and
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just ironic because you brought up that, and
I
I'm
was younger
glad.
than that, and my
Yeah,
dad, they sent me to a shrink because I was crazy. I was running around, just I was being a boy. I was being a dumb boy. I grew up in the woods most of my life, so yeah, I want to be outside playing. I don't want to be sitting in a classroom. And they were like, he needs to be on Ritalin, and my dad goes, nope. And if he has to be on Ritalin and go back to school, he ain't going back to that school. We'll find another school for him. So luckily, I had a dad that stood on his beliefs, and he didn't believe that his kids needed to be drugged up. He's like, "You're not turning my kid into a zombie. I'm not. We're not doing that." So, but I see, my friends, they were taking Ritalin, and they weren't who they were before. They're like, "That's no fun." So they're kids. Why are you medicating kids? I get it if they're running around stabbing people. Okay, maybe sedate that one. But the average kid, they just need to be running around playing, screaming, having a good time.
is it still prescribed like that, like it was in the 80s and 90s?
I don't know. I think they've moved on past Ritalin, and shit. You hear kids getting Adderall and all this other shit too. So I don't know.
Same thing. I
Yeah,
feel like it's the same thing, just changing the verbiage or name of the medication.
yeah. I mean, they just rebranded it. That's it.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I think that's ridiculous. I've got two boys under the age of 7. And there's no way in hell I would ever allow my kids to take any medication like that. And if they have to take it to go out to be in that school, we'll find another school that they don't have to be on it. And just let people, let the teachers know they're boys. They're gonna be loud. They're gonna be running around and being crazy. They're just kids. So
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, I think if they get older, maybe, I don't know, high school, college years, where they couldn't focus or something along those lines, I think that at that point it'd be understandable.
right.
Kind of when your hormones are kind of even out, and you're not just like all over the place. But uh, as a kid, I don't know. I think that's doing them definitely a disservice for sure.
Well, between the ages of 3 and 7, little boys have more testosterone running through their body than they ever will in their entire lives.
I know that's
So
crazy.
that's why little boys are loud, they're fast, they're aggressive. And I don't mean aggressive like punching people, but aggressive. They're in comparison to little girls, they're just more up here. They're just crazy. And I have two boys that are in that that age bracket right now. And man, I just look at them like, man, I wish I had that energy. I wish I had all that energy you have. And it's because their hormones are like their NAD plus levels are through the roof. Their NMM are through the roof. Their testosterone's through the roof. So, and they don't have any of the hangups of knowing what's going on in their body. So, it's good. I think they need to be able to just run around and be boys. I tell them to go outside and play, run it off. And they do. And they go to bed and they sleep like babies. So it's awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the right way to handle that for sure. What do you know if there's any correlation to high cholesterol and low testosterone, or vice versa?
It's funny you said that. I just read something a couple days ago where they were talking about cholesterol and testosterone levels, and I, I, I'll have to pull it up and send it to you. But I think it said something about the higher your cholesterol is, it's obviously it's harder for your body to work and everything else. Um, but I read another article about cholesterol, and it has something to do because um, with people not eating as much red meat anymore, because cholesterol is made in the liver, right? Well, if they're getting you on all these medications to get your cholesterol down, that means it's probably blocking the cholesterol that's being created in your liver. What in your body is 75, 80% fat?
I'm gonna guess your liver.
Your brain.
Oh, Interesting. I didn't know that.
Good night, man. Hey, thanks for the $9.99. We appreciate it, and thanks for asking the questions. So there's a massive correlation in people that are not eating red meat anymore, and there was a study that just came out not too long ago about vegans, and I'm not talking shit about vegans. If you want to be a vegan, be a fucking vegan. I don't care. If you want to be a vegetarian, I don't care. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what this study said. And the study was saying that vegans' brains versus someone that eats meat are smaller. And I don't mean like their intelligence level, but their actual brain size is smaller because they're not feeding it the fat they need to.
Interesting.
I have 3 daughters that hate sitting through school. Yeah, I think all kids hate sitting through school. And I can't remember what movie. Deep Blue Sea. Did you ever see that movie? Had Samuel L. Jackson.
Sounds familiar, but
they had the 2 sharks that they were doing experiments on. They got smarter, and then they realized there was something wrong with them because they could swim backwards, and sharks can't swim backwards. Well, they were talking about an Alzheimer's drug, and what they were doing is they were injecting fat into the brains of Deep Blue Sea. Antihero said. Injecting fat into the sharks' brains, essentially making their brains grow and get smarter and all this stuff because they were overfeeding its brain fat. So I know still it breaks down to if your brain needs something and you're not giving it, you're choking it off. It's like when we sit on your chest and see how long you can breathe for, so when you have these studies that come out, you have all these, big pharma and all this stuff. They don't want you not to be vegan. Why was there such a big push to be vegan? Why was there such a big push to be vegetarians? Before vegetarianism and all that stuff in the 80s and 90s, everybody ate raw meat, or not raw meat, but meat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for the most part, they were pretty healthy. Cholesterol levels have been brought down, and I think 25 years ago, the acceptable cholesterol level was 300. It's like 150 now.
Yeah, so that's the reason I brought up. I was like watching something, and I don't know. I had high cholesterol. Maybe I don't know. They tried to give me some medication. I took it. I felt miserable, and I just kind of controlled it myself. But then I read something like 2 days ago, and they were talking about cholesterol is basically the building blocks that transports testosterone throughout your body. And the one thing that you should check if you have high cholesterol is to check the plaque buildup. If you have no plaque buildup and your cholesterol is high, you don't need to be on medication. Anyways, I was able to get it under control where like I don't take the medication anymore. But then I was watching that they were saying that there's some correlation between your testosterone levels being low and your cholesterol not transporting it because there was plaque buildup or something along those lines, which was creating basically misreads with your cholesterol level being high. And it wasn't necessarily high. It was just the way that, I don't know, how the new system is gauging or some bullshit. I don't know. So then I'm curious now to see when I go get my blood work done again, is my cholesterol level even lower than it was prior to this? But I think I was at like 299, something like that at one time, my cholesterol. Right. And they're like, oh, like that I was going to die or something. And I felt fine. So I was like, I don't understand this. And they gave me medication. I felt like shit. So then I don't know, watched what I ate for a while. And I was able to get it completely under control by myself. So I don't know. Cholesterol is a weird thing to me. And I don't even think they know. I don't even think that they understand what the hell it does or how it raises or anything along those lines based on my experience for the past 5 or 7 years dealing with it.
Right. The crazy thing is I was told that I had high cholesterol. And I was like, well, what's it supposed to be? They're like, 150. And they were like, you're in the danger zone. I'm okay. Well, what is it at? It's at 162. I'm like, that doesn't really sound like a danger zone to me. And then I started researching it, of course. And I went back and asked the doctor, and they didn't have an answer. They're like, well, we're just going off the chart. So by that rationale, the chart that you have from 195 to 1,000, which tell me what other industry they have that big of a gap that's acceptable.
So they're saying 195 to 1,000 is like beyond the danger zone, I guess. I don't know.
195 for testosterone, 195 to
Oh, I got you. I
1,000.
got you. I got
That's
you.
the
Yeah,
acceptable window. How
I
in
got you.
the absolute hell is that even close to being an acceptable window for these two items, right? So your testosterone is okay if you're between 190, so 196 and 999.
That is crazy.
But if you're at 1,001, you're gonna die. If you're at 196, you're good to go. No, I'm not. I'm tired. I can't think. I can't be a functioning human being. I mean, you're damn near a woman at that point.
Yeah,
And
my general practitioner told me when I was getting my blood work done, he's like, dude, anything above 700 to 1,000, he's like, you're good. So like when I was at 719, he's like, it's like you're still good. And I was like, all right. I mean, that makes more sense, like the 300,
yeah,
but not an 800 variance.
yeah. And if doctors were more honest about it and be like, listen, our opinion, 700 to 1,000 is really good. It's good. That's where you probably should be at, over the age of 30. But because the stipulations for insurances, I can prescribe it, but you're going to have to pay it out of pocket. You know how many dudes would be like, okay,
Yeah, 100%.
but the insurance or the doctors won't even do that because they're controlled by the insurance company. Because the insurance company says, well, if you prescribe this, then we're not making our money. Well, then how about you do this? Fucking pay for it. Then you make your money because you get your copay and all that stuff for the visit and for all this stuff. And it's so frustrating when you actually talk to doctors about it. And I've talked to several, and a lot of doctors have left like general practices at hospitals because of it. A lot of doctors have opened their own thing or started doing telemedicine from home, and they're doing the same thing. They still take their tests and they still do all that stuff. And a lot of them will actually do telemedicine, but they'll be like an ER doc, on a rotating schedule. So it's just really disappointing that we have a system that it's not perfect by any means, but it's a pretty damn good system. I mean, it's better than fucking Canada's.
Yeah, no,
Where
I agree.
you'll die before you see the doctor, or if you're not dying, you can't see the doctor. Or
Or if you have a
then,
bunch of money, you can get into like the specialty hospitals where,
yeah, like right now,
yep.
because
Yeah, I mean,
pay to play.
Yep. And that's where I get frustrated is like instead of looking out for the betterment of people, it has became big business. That's all it is. It's a huge fucking business, and that's all they're looking at is the financial gain. And that's why like I keep talking about my general practitioner, he broke away from a hospital and started his own practice where now he just kind of I think he can be more honest and upfront where he's not under the pressure of a network of hospitals.
Yeah, and like our doctor the same way. I mean, you've talked to Doc Chandler. He's very willing to be open about it and say, yeah, this is what you should be at. This is what I recommend. Ultimately, you have to make the decision. If you don't want to do this, that's fine. Or if you want us to back it down, we can do that. If you want to start out slow, great. We can do whatever it is you want to do. But he puts you back in the driver's seat instead of him saying, this is what you have to have or you're going to die. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think I just saw your Tasty Gains behind you, and I was going to say, like, I think it's crazy because I look at testosterone, and then I also look at creatine. I started taking creatine in high school, and they made it seem like you were going to die and your kidneys were going to fail and all this other stuff. And now all these studies come out, and it's like the fucking miracle drug or whatever it is. So it's just crazy that like testosterone bad, and now it's like no, it's really good for you. Creatine
Do you know
bad.
creatine is the most studied supplement on the planet?
And think 20 years ago, I promise, I was in high school and they were saying that if you take it,
yeah,
your kidneys are going to fail. Like I was
your
like,
kidneys are going to rupture and
yeah,
they're going to get blocked. And, yeah, I remember hearing all that crap. And yeah, we work. We have a good relationship with the guys from Tasty Gains, and I have the pre-workouts and just the regular gummies, and I take 5 milligram. I think it's 1 milligram. Let me see.
I think one gummy is 5 milligrams of creatine.
Yeah, it's 90. So yeah, 3 gummies is 5 milligrams. I think that's what it says. Yeah, and I like the strawberry creamsicle and the apple mango for both. I will say the pre-workouts pre-workout ones. They're good, but I wasn't really ready for when I took a bite of it. It kind of tasted like I was eating pre-workout a little bit. It doesn't taste like pre-workout, but they're a little bit more tart, but it's nothing like having to chug down a full water bottle of pre-workout or creatine, because creatine sucked. Like, you couldn't mix that shit with anything and make it taste good.
Yeah, you gotta. It's yeah. I mean, for me, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So I'll drink like a Propel and I'll put it in there. But you just get that gritty, sandy, no matter what. Like and
At
towards
the
the end of
very
the bottom, yeah,
like, you feel like you just drink sand.
Yep. You'll probably hate how I take pre-workout, but I take the entire scoop and then I in my mouth and then I drink water afterwards.
That seems to be like a new trend that people are doing. I think I would like put it in my mouth and I would cough and it would all come flying out.
Twice it's happened to me. I do it in my kitchen sink now because like the first time it was like all over my bathroom mirror. I was like, whoosh. So now I do it in my because it's like, I don't know, like I was like, oh, good morning, getting ready to go, and did it, and it exploded out of my nose. It was fucking painful too because I don't know what it was. It didn't feel good though.
Yeah, grit coming out of your nose. Who cares about the taste? Well, at 47, I care about the taste now. I used to not give a shit what it tastes like. It just go, I guess I got bougie as I got older.
What else you got back there behind you, man?
So I've got, it's a buddy of mine's company. It's Field to Trail. It's Wagyu beef tallow lotion. My hands will crack real bad during the winter, and this is some of the best shit I've ever had.
This beef tallow is like fat, right?
Yeah, it's beef fat, but it's from Wagyu cows. Actually, I'm wearing their shirt, KC Cattle Company.
Nice.
He was a 1st Battalion, I think, 75th Ranger Regiment dude. He owns a farm here in Kansas City, and you want to have some of the best beef, get online, order some from KC Cattle Company. It's friggin' amazing. Probably the best beef I've ever had in my life. But it's also Wagyu.
Did he grow up in that family, or did he once he got out of the military, he started his own farm?
So I don't know how far I'm supposed to go into the story, but his best friend and him they were in the Army together. He got killed, and when Pat got out, while they were in, they were going to start this farm when they got out together, and unfortunately, his friend got killed, and he kept to that promise, and he started it, and they have a little store down in Parkville, Missouri, and they have a big farm, and he pays really close attention to everything, how to do it right, and even they feed them exactly what they're supposed to feed them, the way they're supposed to feed them, and they use bourbon barrels, and they put the cattle feed in there. I don't know what the hell it does, but it makes them taste delicious. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good story.
So, KCCattleCompany.com. Check them out. And then I got these this weekend at the show. I got to smoke one while I was there. They're first responder cigars, FRCC. Brent Tucker's company. And I've never really been a cigar guy.
Either.
Those are actually pretty good. I mean, but I've also smoked like $2 cigars. So the hell do I know about cigars?
In full transparency, I've never smoked a cigarette or cigar in my life. I can't stand the smell of.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice them smelling that bad. And I remember cigars when I was younger smelling like absolute shit. But I didn't notice them. And Brent was smoking one, his brother was smoking one, and I was smoking one, and it didn't bother me really all that much. Which
I don't mind the smell. I don't mind the smell of cigars as long as it's not like in their studio where they're trying it out and then you can't see. But if you're sitting outside around a fire, I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you're in, I guess, I don't know. It's completely when you're surrounded. Yeah. Like it's like there's no escape from it. Yeah, I don't mind the smell of cigarettes smell like shit, but a cigar doesn't bother me.
Oh, come on. You didn't like the strip clubs 15, 20 years ago?
We still have bars by me that
you can see the haze of smoke.
Yeah.
It was right where the club, where the stage was.
Yep. We still have bars here that you can smoke in. It's the craziest thing. Yeah.
I don't know if I would like that, just because I smoked for a long time, and I'm not a massive fan of the smell of cigarettes anymore. But because I was a smoker, every once in a while somebody will light a cigarette up and walk by, and you're like, "Ooh, that smells pretty good," for about 18 seconds, and then you're like, "Never mind, it doesn't smell good anymore." And then you
No, these
remember
are
how your hands smell and your clothes smell, and yeah,
yeah, these are like musty because it's they've been smoking these bars, since like probably the 50s or 60s, and it's
yeah.
like so it's like that musty old smoke that's even gross. I don't know.
Well, and the crazy part is if you turn the light on, you put a flashlight on the roof on the ceiling, it's just like got this
Yellow film.
round, and you could wipe your finger on it, and it's like oily and nasty. Yeah,
Disgusting.
yeah. But yeah, man. So what other supplements you're taking besides testosterone and
I take a BPC 157 for my shoulder. I started taking that before even on TRT and stuff. I have a partially torn rotator cuff. I've had it for years. I've been dealing with it. I've been taking the for a long time. Every 6 months, I was getting cortisone shots, and the BPC 157 is kind of. I haven't had a cortisone shot probably in 2 or 3 years now. Do I
nice?
still feel it? Like I have to do things the right way. Like I know what's fucked up, and I know what I can and can't do. And some days are better than others. But yeah, it's preventing me from getting those steroid shots, so it helps out. I think no matter what, I'm gonna have to have surgery eventually. Like I thought, I was hoping that I guess BPC would turn into like stem cells or something. It would be fine, but not
Yeah.
so much. I'm definitely gonna have to have surgery, but I've been managed to deal with it. I probably 7, 8 years I probably have had it. Then maybe 3 years of it. No cortisone shots, so I'm
So I
good with
just
it.
had
I
my
can still work
shoulder
out.
redone too. I'm the same way. I just had my shoulder rebuilt. Um, I still have a torn rotator cuff. Um, but when I had my shoulder replaced, or not replaced, but fixed, I had the bicep tendon was torn because every time I'd move my arm, it'd go into the socket, and then I'd move it, it'd come snapping out, so it ripped. So my surgeon cut it off, and we mounted it down here.
Oh,
Um, then I had the labrum tear, so we had to fix that, and then clean up all the scar tissue that was in there. Pretty disgusting, pretty bad. And I told my surgeon before I went out, I was like, if you don't have to do anything to the rotator cuff, please don't. I mean, if it absolutely has to be done, then do it. And he goes, well, if you wake up with your arm on a pillow, I fixed it. Like, fuck. At the time, I had like a 6-month-old baby.
oh
So that was
man.
gonna be a lot of fun. And he knew that. So it was he said it was right on that line. And even then I had heard about BPC 157 and TB 500, but you couldn't get it anywhere. And I don't want to just order shit online because I don't really trust that. So now that we're able to get our hands on it and it be prescribed and all that good stuff, it makes it a little bit easier for people to get it, get good stuff. And but we also have a guy, his name's Greg, and he can get BPC 157, TB 500, and I've used his stuff. It's great. A little bit cheaper, but it's still still good quality, still high quality. So if anybody wants his number, give us a call, shoot me an email, pj@hp-trt.com. I'm always willing to help guys out. He does a lot of really good work with special operations guys, Phoenix Fire, Phoenix Police. So he's kind of got his fingers on the heartbeat, the pulse of a lot of guys that he can help that really needs help. So,
What do you think about stem cells and the likelihood that they're going to come to the United States in the quality that they have in other countries?
never.
Just because it fixes too much shit.
Fixes too much shit. You heal so much faster, and it has to do with blood. And for some reason, the United States is super fucking weird about blood. When you separate the stem cells from the blood and however the process is, they've always been really weird about it. And I've actually talked to a few doctors about it. Actually, my first back surgeon, and he said they'll just it might get approved, but it won't be on the level that it is somewhere else because they've been doing it in other countries for 50 years. Like this isn't new technology.
No.
I mean, just like electric cars, everybody thinks that's brand new technology. They had electric cars in 1910. They didn't fucking work, so they stopped using them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same thing with the like anything that comes to the United States as far as like medical advances, they're not advances. They've been doing them in other countries for 20 years, 30 years by the time we see them. And they've been doing them effectively. So that's why I saw something online today. Somebody was talking about if you start taking testosterone, it shuts off your natural productions. It does this, it does that. You're more likely to get a heart attack and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, that's not even close to being true because Harvard just released a study last year, 2024. I think it was April or something like that. And they did a 5-year study on the effects of testosterone and heart attacks and prostate cancer. And they had zero conclusive evidence that shows that it's even close to being related.
Yeah, I mean that old ass study about the heart attacks. Everything that I even read was like they were using like bodybuilders, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
no shit, they're taking like
Yep.
17 times the amount of testosterone that.
And they were also taking growth hormone.
Yeah, like everything possible. So, like, you can't just say like, oh yeah, based on these guys because we know they're using steroids that they had heart problems. Like, yeah, no shit. Like,
Yeah.
but that's not what TRT is. TRT is a replacement for or to get you back to where a normal level is, not to make you look like fucking Ronnie Coleman and stuff.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not a fan of TRT, the name. We're not replacing anything. Actually, I ran into a guy at the convention this weekend. Only the second person I've ever met and I've ever talked to about testosterone where he legitimately, his body does not create testosterone. So he's been on testosterone his whole life and he's been on testosterone replacement because he has none. What we do is we bridge a gap. So if you're at 400 and you get to 800, you want to get to 800, we bridge that gap for you, or we help you bridge that gap. So I've never been a massive fan of, the name TRT. It's the nature of what people know. So that's kind of what you say and what you do. But when it comes down to replacing anything, we don't replace anything. We don't replace it at all. We just give you more of a chance for your body to not have to work so hard. And the whole your nuts shrink. They do a little bit. If you notice that little amount of shrinkage, either you have really gigantic nuts or you have really small nuts. Either way,
you're paying way too much attention to your nuts too.
But it's not shutting anything off. Like I saw an ad for Mars Men. Have you seen those ads?
Mm-mm.
They go into this big, long, detailed thing about how as soon as you start injecting testosterone, your nuts shrink and your body stops making testosterone. And this, if you're doing super physiological dosages, yep, 100% correct. It will stop making testosterone, period. And if you do that to your body, it's not coming back. So you're going to be on replacement therapy because you killed all of it. But when it comes down to it, these guys that start talking about this stuff, it pisses me off because one of the guys that is on like the spokesperson for Mars Men, he's a friggin' doctor. I'm like, what are you doing?
Because he's probably being paid by Big Pharma. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's going on there and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you this amount of money, just fucking trash, testosterone.
Well, I went on their site or on their Facebook thing and I say, can you cite your sources for this ad? Because this ad is 100% wrong and you know it. If you're a real doctor, you know that that's wrong. You know that just taking testosterone does not shut your production off. Taking super physiological dosages, yes, it will. So, it's like, and this guy's all jacked. He's 50 something years old. My ass, you're not taking testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to see I guess, I don't know, the next, 50 years of life expectancy of men that are on TRT compared to men that aren't.
Yep.
And also the psychological impact from men taking TRT compared to those that aren't in the next, I don't know, 50 years or so. I think that if you get your testosterone levels leveled and they're not in the gutter, I think that is going to have a direct correlation to, I don't know, like your emotionals and your like suicidal thoughts and those types of things. And that's just me thinking, like, if you don't have good hormone balance or your hormones are in the gutter, you're going to have bad thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that once we accept this on a grand scale, I think that it's going to benefit even that aspect of society.
Yeah. Well, and one thing we have to start doing is, as men, is stop acting like shit that we can do everything, we can fix everything, because we can't. Sometimes we can't just fix it on our own. And we also got to tell our buddies, hey, you know what? If you're feeling like shit, dude, go get your blood work done. Let's start
Tell
there.
everyone. I tell
And
everyone.
just check it out. Because if you're tired and you're depressed and you just have no energy, no wonder you're depressed, because you're fucking tired and have no energy and you don't want to do anything and you don't feel like yourself anymore.
Yep.
And not feeling like yourself fucks with your brain, and it fucks with everything, man. And I'm not just saying this because I work here, I'm an owner, or anything else like that. I say this because I've been taking testosterone for 16 years, and I wish I would have taken it more seriously 12 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I would have taken it more seriously 12 years ago, I could have felt like this 12 years ago. But I'd take an injection and I'd forget about it. And then, I'd go a week or so. And by then I'd already crashed, and, I'm like, whatever. I just didn't know enough about it. I didn't have enough experience with it. And I didn't have enough knowledge of it. But the guy that actually got me on testosterone, Dr. Bodie in Phoenix, he saved my life. He really did. He was the one that was like, hey, let's get your testosterone levels checked. I got him checked, and he was like, yeah, they're low. Here, take this. And told me what to take. And this is also a family practice doctor that when he does his endocrine system tests, he scores a 100% every time. So he's very well versed in hormones and endocrine system. So if you live in Phoenix and you're watching, go check out Dr. Bodie. He's an amazing dude, and he really, really, really knows what he's talking about.
Two things. I don't know how much time we got, but if you go on vacation out of the country, how do you manage taking your testosterone?
I'd take it with me.
No issues leaving the country?
I haven't had any issues.
Okay.
But there's a difference in taking it with you as a medication, and there's a massive difference in you sending it to someone. Because if you send it to someone, most countries have really, really, really stringent laws on importing controlled substances. Well, testosterone is a controlled substance. There was a military dude, I think he was in the army. I can't remember who the hell it was actually, but he had like one injection left in the vial, and he almost got hemmed up for international drug trafficking. It was his own personal use. He had it with him on deployment or wherever he was. So yeah, there's huge implications, but I would just make sure that when I went to the airport, I let them know, hey, I have medical supplies, I have testosterone, I have this. I've never had any problem flying with needles. Not even a little bit. They obviously tell you to have your medication with you. Do not ever put your testosterone under the plane, because it will freeze and then it'll be useless. It crystallizes, and you don't want that to happen.
Gotcha. Didn't know that. All right. I was just curious.
Yeah. Keep it away from cold. So yeah, we're at about an hour and 9 minutes, man.
Yeah. That's an easy conversation though.
Yeah. Kenny, I want to thank you for coming on, man. A great conversation, great insight. I'd love to have you back in a few more months or a few more weeks to see, how you're doing now, because you're about 2 months in. And I think people really would like to see like progress and, how you're feeling and your numbers. And like Justin from Donut Shop, he went from, I think, 300 and something to like 900 or 800.
Oh, damn. See, I haven't got my blood work done since I've been taking it, so
Yeah.
I gotta get that done. And I'll definitely come back on.
Yeah, because I would love to have guys that have actually experienced it, and we have a plan for one of our guys that we have, and we're just trying to figure out how to do it. But he wants to do like a before and an after, but walk through the journey, so that so you can see what he started at, how he felt when he started, what he looked like when he started, all the way up until when he a couple months later, and is feeling optimum, and everything's good. So it'll be a really good show. It'll be a really good time to kind of for guys to see what is possible, because he's also not going to be one of those guys that is going to start it and then not do the work, not do the diet, not do the workouts, not do it. But he's also not going to go to the big gyms. He's going to do a very Spartan, like you and me, go outside in the backyard with what we have. You know what I mean? Kind of like a deployment workout.
Yeah, like body weight workouts and stuff like that.
I think it's a little bit more than that. Like just like a bench and click weights up to 100 pounds.
Okay.
So nothing super special, no cable machines, no nothing crazy, just something that you might be able to go to Walmart and buy for working out. So that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see his progress. Excited about that. So yeah, man. Well, Kenny, I appreciate you, man. And if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me. And thanks for being on, man.
No, it's been my pleasure, man. I'll probably hit you up tomorrow or something.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.